As an elementary school teacher whose children have grown up, I was drawn to volunteer overseas in the summer of 2007. I traveled to Madagascar, where I worked in an orphanage and a school that were both started by a Canadian woman named Mary Sherwood. Well, little did I know that instead of an experience of a month, this would become my life. Madagascar is a poor country off the southeast coast of Africa, where 3/4 of the people live on less than $1 a day. They are engaged in subsistence farming and barely eke out enough to feed and sustain their families. As the rice fields are passed down through the generations and divided, each person's parcel of land gets smaller and smaller, and eventually is no longer enough. As a result, many people have migrated to the cities to try to find work. It was at a school in the city where the poverty really struck me, and so did an idea of how we could help. As I accompanied the school children out into their yard to play, I noticed about 30 children's faces looking through the little slit in the security gate as they fought to get a peek at what the school children were doing. These are the children who will never get an opportunity to go to school. These children are destined to spend their days on the street, taking care of younger siblings, begging, sometimes stealing to find enough to eat, all because their parents cannot afford to send them to school. I came back to North America with a strong desire to build a school for children such as these. I asked some friends and members of our church, and they agreed to start a committee. The Madagascar School Project was born. While in touch with people I had met in Madagascar, I was directed to a particularly desperate group of people in a village called Mbataranana. Here, the church was willing to let us use a piece of land to build our school. During the Christmas holidays, I traveled there to see for myself. There were indeed lots of children, but many of them were working. It was decided that if we could raise enough money, approximately $23,000 Canadian, a school would be built for these children. In July 2008, we took the plunge and started building the school. With $17,000 in the bank, we prayed that we would be able to fundraise enough to finish the school and operate Luva Su, School of Good Inheritance. We were to have 2 classrooms. Since a teacher's salary is about $50 a month, a Malagasy teacher and I would each take a class, and I would have a translator to help me, as the children speak only their native tongue of Malagasy. In preparation for the building process, the foundation stones first had to be smashed off the rocks in the area, carted down to the site, and laid in place. Cement bags were purchased, but most everything else came from the local environment and labor of the people. The sand needed for the cement was recovered from the streams. The bricks were made in the rice fields, and the laborers, working barefoot, ate and slept there on site for 3 months. October 14th, 2008, the school was ready. The well had been dug, outhouses constructed, a rough kitchen built where a meal would be cooked daily for the children. 66 children were part of our school that first year. They sat in amazement and didn't dare touch the funny-looking, colorful things in the middle of their desks, known as crayons to us. But when they did, their faces lit up as they elbowed their friends to show what beautiful lines they could draw. The meal was cooked by a parent and her young 14-year-old friend every day, collecting all the food from the market 45 minutes away every Monday. Because we were offering their children a free education, the parents were asked to grow vegetables for us to feed the children the noonday meal. Each family was given a little plot of land near the school to tend daily. The children loved being in school and would usually arrive a good hour before class began at 8 a.m., some of them walking 5 to 6 kilometers to get there. At recess, they often chose to stay inside, looking at books or using chalk and crayons rather than being outside playing, which is what they had done all their lives up until their school was built. So it was that in the fall of 2009, when our first school, Luva Su, had been going for a year and running smoothly, we heard about another village, Ambui Bruce, that really wanted a school. The president of the township, had gathered all the statistics and made a case in writing to the mayor about how they wished to have a school of their own. In 2009, on the President's advice, we bought land next to the village of Amboy-Bruce. It was just a bit of pasture land at that time. Here it is now, just 8 years later, thanks to the help of many donors in Canada and now you in the US. We have big organic vegetable gardens stretching all the way along the roadside to feed our staff and students. We just built our last 6-classroom building in which we have 2 new science labs. We have 720 students this year, and they range from junior kindergarten up to grade 13 graduation. Here they are singing their national anthem. Students are taught in Malagasy and French, which is the second national language. We also teach English in the hopes that this will get some jobs eventually. Here is the grade 1 class in English.
Hello, everyone.
And a young class enjoying a Malagasy song. We charge 50 cents a month for tuition, and even that little amount is too much for some families. If they can't pay for their children's tuition, the parents come and help us in the garden for a morning per month for each child. We have extensive organic vegetable gardens now, and many fruit-producing trees. Our cooks turn the produce into delicious meals for our students and staff. It's hard to believe that just $40 will feed a student a hot meal every weekday for the whole of the school year. We also feed babies and toddlers a warm protein-enriched porridge. Parents and siblings bring the little ones to our school each day to keep the children growing well and stave off malnutrition, which can stunt their growth. The children clean their own school every Friday afternoon, working alongside their teachers and classmates. Here is a picture of our entire staff, teachers in white lab coats, cooks in burgundy, guards and gardeners round out our staff. We have taught young women to sew, and now we have several each day who come and sew uniforms for the students. Without uniforms, some children wouldn't come to school as their clothing would embarrass them. We teach handwork to our students. They learn to cook, sew, knit, embroider, and also make baskets. Here are some of the hand-worked baskets of the grade 11 class. Kindergarten children grow their own row of spinach in the garden. We have a church service each Friday morning at our school, as we are too many now to fit in the local church building. Parents often join us for this service. Here we are singing How Great Thou Art in Malagasy. We make our own electricity at the school using solar panels on the roof. We also heat water for showers with the heat of the sun. We use a biogas digester to supplement the cooking of so many meals. This is a clean energy that burns no trees and produces no smoke. A bucket of cow manure is put down into the cement pool, and as the sun heats it, methane gas is produced, which is just like propane gas and operates a small gas stove. We also have a small solar oven that the volunteers use to cook their meals. This year we were able to buy 2 parabolic solar ovens, which can cook a greater amount of food in less time with the help of the sun. We are very happy to have these working now, as we hate to cut down the few trees that still exist in order to cook our meals. It rains very hard every day during the rainy season. This water rushes down the hillsides, taking our nutrient-rich topsoil with it. And eroding the land. These are the parents of our students who have been a wonderful help in solving this problem. What we needed to do was keep the water from running down the hills of our gardens and try to save some water for the dry season so that we can grow trees and perennial plants all year round. With the help of a permaculture expert from Switzerland and the parents, we were able to dig large ditches called swales. When it rains, the water doesn't rush down the hillside, but gathers in the swales and slowly seeps into the soil. This worked so well that last February we were able to work for an entire week with over 100 parents a day, transforming a huge tract of land into permaculture vegetable gardens for the school. This is what the gardens looked like from a distance, 5 weeks after planting. We also have 200 laying hens and are able to sell the eggs daily in neighboring villages. One of the criticisms of foreign aid is that if it operates in a country for too long, a dependency arises, and citizens begin to wait for help rather than to work to help themselves. This is why we are working towards self-sufficiency. Our goal is for our school to be able to fund itself by the year 2026. The gardens and the chickens will play a role, but we're also hoping to develop a business of some kind. In this picture you can see the school committee. This is the group representing all members of the project, voted in by their peers, who will move the school into the future and towards financial stability. A big job considering the lack of an economy here and no experience in making important decisions as a group. Our villages are full of children like this who can't afford to go to school. We started the Toonie Twinning program, whereby for $2 a week a North American child can send a Malagasy child to school. It's a small enough amount of money that a child could earn it from their allowance or by doing little chores around the house. What an empowering feeling to know that you are changing a child's life and future. The children write letters back and forth and can even use email now. It's our hope that we will no longer see children like this one sitting alone with no place to go. Here are some before and after shots of the children who have come to us after they've spent some time with good nutrition, friends, medical care, and learning. The changes are quite incredible. The chapel on the beach has been a tremendous help to us in 2017. Much of what you see in this show is thanks to your help. This is the only Bible we had at our school, but now, with your great donation, we are able to buy 2 class sets of Bibles and also some much-needed course books for teachers. So, to move towards self-sufficiency, we need to focus next on organizing and learning. Our biggest need now is the training and development of our people. They need to develop the skills and the confidence to take on the challenge of providing for themselves and their school. Our goal is to improve teaching, gardening, and business development so that a self-sufficient future is possible. We would like to send 2 teachers to creative pedagogy training in Kenya, bring over a permaculture gardener, and send 3 villagers to a 2-week training course in asset-based community-led development. They will then return to their villages with the leadership skills needed, share what they've learned, and be the co-designers of their own future. None of this would have been possible without God's help and the generosity of His faithful. There is no question that God's power working through us can do infinitely more than we can ask or imagine. Thank you, Chapel on the Beach, for your selfless giving. You are now a part of this story. This is our website if you have any questions or wish to stay in touch. Thank you.